The hosts of the Swine Brothers show are not role models. They're not even human. They're complete monsters. The Swine Brothers show is dumb, crude, thoughtless, ugly, sexist, self-destructive, foolish, and a crime against humanity. Some of the things they do would cause a person to get hurt, expelled, arrested, possibly deported. The fact they blatantly ripped this off from another source should be an indicator of their shameless depravity. This extreme in bad taste will offend anyone with a working brain, so listener discretion is advised. If you're still here, welcome to the sewer of the internet.
Look, you bastards, I'm gonna tell you one time.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Swine Brothers Show, episode 174, coming to you from the bunker. Okay, not really. You can get in touch with us at Cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com and or the Facebook page, which is Swine Brothers. I think it's at SwineBros666 if you want to do a search thing, which I've never wanted to do. So I am your host from California, Elliot Lindemood, and on the East Coast.
I am the Jim, the seeing asshole who tells this bastard what the hell to do.
The seeing asshole, the seeing eye mutant, and I'm the one who has to do things because Jim Brain don't work no more.
Yes, that's right.
So,
I tell you one thing right now. I got rather offended by something.
Jim got offended by something.
Which those of you who follow the show know that's kind of hard to do.
Yes. What did you get offended by?
Parenting YouTubers are receiving backlash, well-deserved backlash, from critics who deserve to stab them. I mean, say they rehomed their adopted son with developmental disabilities after monetizing videos about him.
He's not perfect. We gotta give him back.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh my god, this is gonna grow up to be a kid. We can't have it. Fuck.
He's not a baby anymore. It's actually becoming a challenge, and he's no longer cute, and we can't make any money off of him. So let's give him back. Yeah, that's kind of.
You see, the whole entire thing is it has some sort of. He needed numerous therapies over the past 3 years, and begun more interventions in the past year, and all this other stuff that's been really hard. Multiple assessments, multiple evaluations, numerous medical professionals have felt that he needed a different fit.
Which, okay.
If they needed a different fit, that means you really didn't give a shit about the kid itself. You only cared about what benefits the kid could provide you.
I mean, I know people with kids with things like this, and you as well. They had those kids biologically. If you, what I guess what pisses me off is you knew what was happening. You adopted the kid.
Yeah, and you knew that at least something was up, even if they weren't totally honest on all their papers coming from some other country. You know. So you had this pre-warning, whereas, like, the hot mess I fucking have dated off and on throughout the years, she has a kid with a mitochondrial disease. Just finding out what was wrong with her was like a year-long nightmare for her. I only got to see bits and pieces of that, and even I was like, this is a fucking mess. And they didn't know this was coming.
No.
And Howard Stern, my buddy, he was married to her whenever this was going on, and he was helping her take care of it. He was helping take care of the kid. It's not even his kid. Someone else knocked her up, and he treated her as if the kid was his own. And went out of his way, and they both sacrificed so much. I mean...
Yeah.
And, you know, somehow the kid's living past its expiration date. So yeah, she at least did something right, even after, the divorce and all this, and they did something right to keep the kid going this long. And you could tell this is what, unconditional love is. It was a fucking getting people to pay things. And oh, by the way, I bet you these people are fucking richy rich compared to them, and how much they had to fucking depend on the fucking system just to get things covered. Fuck! Which was a nightmare listening to the phone calls whenever I'd stop over. That was a fucking bitch.
Well, what pisses me off about this is, okay, if you're not doing it right, but the whole thing is, you make money off of this kid from YouTube videos. I think that's what rubs me the wrong way. Okay, if you but you're making money off this kid, and like I said, with YouTube videos, and then you're basically using him as a cash cow.
Yeah, and that's essentially it right then, right there. That just pisses me off too. It's like, it's broken. Let's return the kid. Fuck.
I mean,
For those of you that haven't followed the show, the thing is, I was in a rough spot during my little separation. Whenever that was fresh, the CYS had our kids because I sent them there so I could help my then wife through her nice little alcoholic binging, passing out, almost fucking collapsing on top of the kids. Yeah, stupid me thought I could help fix her, which I couldn't, so, because she didn't want the help. So I went through this huge fucking battle for the kids after we split. And CYS is involved. And of course, government's got to favor the mother, so they ship them to her. And whenever they shipped them to her, my entire support network that was banking on me getting the kids because I was obviously the better choice, they fucking all backed out on me. So now I'm going homeless on top of it because I lost my job because welcome to the recession of 2007, kids. So I'm going through all this shit, and whether people telling me that she was fucking doing heroin and that's why she passed out in the street, or what she told me, which was her anorexia was acting up, she starved herself, and she collapsed in the street because of that, doesn't matter, because she was just like, oop, let's get rid of the kids now, and I'm in a position where I'm fucking homeless. I don't want to drag my kids through that. Do you realize how much that pained me at the time and how much that fucking hurts to this day? That I had to give up rights to my kids to make certain they had stability. And I will tell you right now, I was fortunate enough to know the family that adopted them. Or at least to have known them for as long as they had the kids under foster care while we were fucking fighting it out. Fuck. So, and if they wound up getting rid of my kids because, oh God, Stevie's got the fucking tism. Fucking shit. And I don't even care if it was something, hugely medically drastic or not. If you would have gotten, I would not be in a forgiving mood, ever. I would wish death and hatred on you because the one thing I wanted to provide them was stability. And since I couldn't, I trusted this family could.
If you to the YouTube parents, I mean, I don't think they adopted the kid not knowing it had medical things. I don't.
They may not know. I'll give them this. Okay, they may not have known everything, but they had to know something.
You had to know. So I guess I can get that it was, maybe you didn't know the extent of it, or maybe, but as you said, stick with it, because you should, love your kid unconditionally, as you said. But
even if you adopt them, but fuck.
But that's,
This is just the shit that fucking gets my goat, like, totally. You can go ahead and call me whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. Okay, I've been called worse, I guarantee. Your creativity is not that good.
Yeah. Um,
But this shit here, this action, this thing that was done, pissed me off.
like I said, they turned the kid into a monetization thing,
Uh-huh.
so they can get money.
Oh, what was
Oh, look,
fucked up was the fact that they crowdfunded to get the kid in the first place.
nice. And then just,
That is fucking abhorrent.
well, hopefully the kid will have a better future.
Hopefully the kid's gonna do better, but still,
I mean, yeah.
these people are lowest of the fucking low.
So
They
does it say what?
Just whatever.
Yeah, but that's nothing's gonna happen. They're gonna keep getting big and adopt another kid. Cycle
Yeah.
repeats.
Yeah, and return him whenever he turns out defective.
Yeah. I think I failed. Well,
Oh, well, let's get my fucking happy place.
what's your happy place? I know about your happy place. That's illegal.
That was Musty Guts with The Tale of Misanthropy off their 1988 demo, Maggot Assault.
I don't think I've actually heard that before.
It's good stuff.
I'm gonna have to look that up at the end of the. Wow, that was good.
Yes, and you know what else makes me happy? I have seen the future of America.
Oh, yes. Okay, what makes you happy?
Okay. You know how everyone's on this lockdown except for a few select people like myself who get trash hurled at them every day at work. People want throwing death threats at me every day just because I held them up in traffic for 5 minutes, maybe 15 maximum. You know, everyone else just sitting at home festering in a stool with their own feces, drinking themselves into a stupor, listening to their kids whine and cry because they're not at school anymore. They can't go to work to escape the kids and fucking spouse doing whatever. You know, they're just sitting there festering. And then something happens. You know, like that story where those fucking cops murdered that bastard, which I am glad those bastards were actually fired. I am so happy they were fired. Now let's imprison the cops. Imprison them and torture them.
I was so surprised because what I said, because you know, usually you're suspended with pay, you naughty cop.
I'm glad they were fired. I want them to be fucking imprisoned where they will be anally raped for all eternity.
Yes. So.
But you see, you just need an event like that. And because everyone's at home, bored, disgusted out of their mind, now they're pissed on top of it. So what do? They go to the streets and riot.
Wait. What are we gonna do, Jim? Do you wanna I don't know, watch Netflix again?
Masturbate to porn again, or do you
I've
bricks
done that
through
already.
A fucking window? Start looting some shit. Set some places on fire.
How about this?
Yeah, fire. Let's overturn some cars, fucker, because that shit's fun. God. Yes. You know, you don't come off a high whenever you're a teenager having stolen thousands of dollars in a day of merchandise with retail theft and look at a riot and say, gee willikers, Bobby, don't I wish I could do that?
Yeah, no, I approve. It's they're destroying they're burning down Minneapolis.
That's right. And we're just going to have more and more U.S. cities like that because how many more people are going to be on fucking lockdown now? It's going to be great. Crack open your beers. Watch society destroy itself.
That's the thing, though, because, you know, people, they're so mad about... Yeah, they're mad about that, but it's also, they're bored. They're pissed off about not having any work, and they're pissed off about this and that. Now you have the cops basically acting like cops. And to all policemen watching the show, fuck you. And yeah, now they're, I mean, I was reading...
the ones that are actually kind of cool, but, you know, let's face it, there aren't as many cool cops as there were back in the day as
I met some okay. I met some okay cops. Yeah, okay. I'll be honest. Yeah, not all cops are that way, and
yeah,
but
and
the ones
morons that are just on a power trip are fucking growing exponentially.
But the ones who are put the ones who aren't on the defensive, because what's going to happen when some like anarchist punk guy decides that all cops are that way and takes out the good ones, and then you know shit, if they're gonna go after me, I should better go after them. So it puts everything.
It's just gonna fucking tip everything over, like they just set the damn police station on fire. That's wonderful.
It's fun, but you know.
I mean, it's a sad day that one of the liquor stores in the area was fucking set on fire.
Aw. What did that liquor store ever do to you? Well, that's the thing. People are looting Target and shit like that.
Target, Walmart's looted, set ablaze. It's glorious. Fuck those corporations. But then you got the small mom and pop shops also getting looted. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, you should always.
If you want to go after something, go after the major corporation. Yes, okay, I know. Because tallied the losses of me going after the evil corporations myself, and I fucked over how many common people's jobs whenever I did it.
Yes, you're a bad. I did nothing. I'm lying. Jim's heard the stories.
Yeah.
Granted, I was mostly the blind decoy.
Uh-huh.
Because
oh, fuck, that's how we got so big, because after I was busted once, I became the decoy.
Yes, because you're all big, mean, and scary. My favorite people, well, one person who probably won't listen to this show anymore after what happened, one person was actually scared of you when she listened to this show.
Aww.
I thought you were kind of cool, and when you're in your moods, I have a confession rant is still one of the best ever. But I've never, wow, he's scary. I was just, yeah, he's a metal guy. Meanwhile, the good Christian one wants you to swear more.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So yes, burning down their city and.
So what is this theme song of the riots taking place you have sent me?
You have to find out. It's all in Skype chat.
For the ones we trust to always be there.
I don't give a
For
shit
the
about
ones
who's
caring
there.
for others.
Better give us money. We just gave you airtime. Creator, Riot of Violence from the Pleasure to Kill album.
What if I told you?
One of those albums that just, oh fuck, it is a religious experience for me. I have one other song about rioting that I want, and that's another religious experience, but we'll play that a little bit later. We want to space out the songs. We don't want to spoil you.
No, we don't want to spoil you.
You'll get songs when we say you get songs. So yes, riots. I did predict riots, didn't I? About March, I did predict there would be riots. Didn't think there'd be about police brutality. I thought they'd be about not being able to feed yourself. But hey, I was half right. What was it? The 2016 election. I predicted everything up until Trump got elected. I everything I said came true, except I didn't think Trump would get elected. So, if
this was all operating off the assumption Hillary was going to get elected.
Yeah. So, if you're looking for a guy who can sort of predict the way things are going, I'm like 90% right some of the time. Yeah, everything like I knew Bernie wasn't going to get in, and I yeah. So.
If we're going to talk about all this fucking politicking shit, want to watch a protest in Romania with some commentary from some dude.
Hello, dude.
Let the press come, so we removed its '48 is greater than 1984. The guy's wearing a shirt that says, born in 83, I don't want my son to be living in 1984.
Romania was in mid-May one of the few countries in the world to have followed the insanity promoted by the violent communist from the China Health Organization in relation to the Wuhan flu, yet the government experiencing no visible blowback from that. Well, May the 15th came and the visible blowback with it too. The blowback came in two ways, in the parks and in the usual spots for protests. And the cathedral media, recently paid for by the government to keep up with the Wuhan flu panic card agitprop, was furious at both of these events. During daytime, they would harass the protesters and trying to spin as much bullshit as possible against the protesters, and during the night time they would follow the youngsters in the parks and snitch them in their papers, TV stations and websites for breaching the holy nonsense of social distancing.
All of you should go, a bunch of thieves and mobsters. Wait a minute, that line there just reminds me of my grandma.
Hey.
No, what happened was I was like, 4 or 5 at the time, and she had this little piece of styrofoam that was red and it was shaped like a brick, and she labeled it the TV brick, and you were supposed to throw it at the TV whenever, it played something that you didn't want it to.
Yes.
And
I would have done that every time my sister watched cartoons, because she had the shit taste in cartoons. I had great taste. Anyway, continue.
Well, there was something on that we were watching, and then like the news came on, there was like some political speech going on, and I just remember picking up the brick and throwing it at the TV because, you're a kid. This is boring and stupid. And my grandmother patted me on the back and said, "That's it, Jimmy. They're nothing but thieves and crooks."
Well, you're right about boring. I was telling you about my reaction to 9/11, and you were amazed by my ignorance.
I wasn't amazed by it. You were a fucking kid.
I was a kid. Like my dad would watch the news, listen to the news, in the car whenever he'd like pick me up from school or whatever, and all I heard was stuff about attacking and attack. So I just assumed, like I wasn't really paying attention. I go to sleep. I just assumed that shit happened all the time, because everything was about attacking and attacks and invasions, and so
And
yeah,
you just
I
assumed everything was being invaded all the time and life was a
I
lot
just
cooler
assumed
than it
everything was
was.
being. Yeah, I was assuming, like, because I remember when he got home and he said America had been attacked, and I was like, but that happens all the time, right? I mean, I listen to the news and all they talk about is things being attacked. And he's like, no, it doesn't. I was like, I maybe should pay a little bit more attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's when I sort of started paying attention to the world around me because. But yes, it was pure ignorance. My reaction. I'm just watching a race.
I mean, I just took my grandmother's instructions back in the early 80s as, something I just took with me all the time. When I see a politician, he's a crook.
It took me a while because when you're a kid, you're you're told that the good politicians are whatever your family's political beliefs are the good politicians. So they're always out looking for you, and whoever the family disagrees with are the bad guys, like a fucking cartoon supervillain thing. They are the bad guys. They want to take over the world.
The funny
And
part was my grandparents on both sides of the family hated the government in its entirety.
good.
I mean, the one grandmother, I don't know what her problem was. I know my grandmother and grandfather on my mother's side, they were on a farm. They were self-sufficient, and that there was always, tax this, new restriction on that, and other things got to be done. Oh, look, a
Mhm.
Richie Rich moved in the neighborhood. Now we got to do something that we've never done. Oh, they're complaining about us spraying fucking the fields with dung because that's the best fertilizer. We're fucking spraying our old cow patties on the field,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's good fertilizer, and they're complaining
yep.
about it because these fucking Richie Riches kill.
My parents were sort of center left, I guess I would say. My grandparents were more right wing, so when over here it's kind of left, and then on the right, I heard about how the Mexicans buy beer at 2 o'clock every day. So we didn't live on a farm or anything, so we the pure city trash, I guess. But yeah, but it took me a while, and then I came under the spell of this whole anarchist punk thing, where I thought that we could tear the government down and like rebuild it or something, and people would just do things because they wanted to, voluntary. And then I realized that I didn't really give a shit about the voluntary thing. I just wanted to tear everything down. It there is a type of punk. They're called anarchy and chaos punks. Anarchy and chaos punks want to destroy the government and don't care what happens. Anarchy and peace punks want to destroy the government and create, the communist anarchist wet dream or whatever.
Which is
I
bullshit because the part of getting there is installing the government to give it
I like
that power, and once you give the government that much power, it never backs down.
the
It
thing is
just takes more.
I like some of the music, and I guess the whole political thing was more about just they were saying things that kind of made. I mean, some of the things they say kind of made sense. It was just then they go off into
Look,
you know
whenever you can't recycle manure by spreading it all over your field so that plants grow for food, there's an issue with the fucking government.
yeah. So and of course I like the music, and so now I don't know. I guess if I still gave a shit about politics, I'd be sort of left. But I just don't care anymore. I'm so burnt out about politics. Whenever I see someone talking about it, I just want to throw something at their head.
And the things we're watching are the lockdown protests, obviously, if you didn't catch that.
Yeah, and I want to throw some at this guy's head too. Especially because I know who he is.
Oh, come on, it's fun watching them.
But this is still Romania, which means you can rely on certain things happening no matter what. One of them being that while most people don't vocally protest, at least not yet, most people will outright ignore anything both the government and the media has to say. You can also rely on government incompetence, especially with the current ruling party. You can rely on loons showing up at protests, like they do at literally any protest, and in the case of Bucharest in mid-May, you can rely on very decent weather. And all of these factors came into force at once.
Is he talking about America? Oh, wait, no, this is Romania.
Yes, Bucharest. Well, I don't know about decent weather. Well, I guess it depends where you are. I guess here's kind of decent.
Here,
But
it's
here,
finally gotten decent.
but I was watching the NASCAR race from Charlotte. It rained all Wednesday, then it rained again Thursday. It's just the 24 fucking hours of Charlotte.
This is something that's pissed me off, though, because this is like perfect construction weather this week. And, like, God, no one was working because of the damn work lockdown, so I got shit hours.
But yet you had to work in like January in the snow.
Yeah, but that was also shit hours back then because that was snow.
Yeah.
And then things started picking up. It's like, yeah, I'm starting to get hours. Then the fucking lockdown happened. And
then the lockdown happened. And, yeah.
I mean, I went through where I got almost 40 hours for a few weeks. This past week here has just been the first where I've been starved for hours again. It's like, fuck. I want this shit done. Open the damn place up so people start digging up yards and fucking doing power lines and shit so I could get more hours.
Yeah, so you can like live. That's what people
get people those useful utilities they need to survive.
I mean, the people who, I mean, the one, our mutual sort of acquaintance, she runs her own business and so doesn't have to rely on that sort of thing.
Her own online business.
Yeah.
So she doesn't even have to leave the house to do her thing.
No.
Just has to throw things out on the door for the mailman to get.
Yeah, and yet she's been sharing, well, we should have started this on March 1st.
Yeah, completely destroy more lives. Just wait till the riots turn against you, bitch, because they're going to be jealous you're getting shit that they can't.
Yeah, and then...
Your workers' revolution will be here as your head's on a spike. Turned against you, didn't it?
I love his laugh. Viewers, his laugh is so demonic and maniacal. That's what makes his show so great. He just lets loose that laugh, and
it's not even me being theatrical. It's natural laugh.
I know, that's the scary part. Like, because I could do it like a theatrical thing, but you just
hearing me theatrical wise, you see that on Fright Night Theater, man. It's like that makes it sound even worse. And I just base it off my normal laughter.
I know. It's so great. Biker Jim.
Let's continue with this thing for a little bit more at least.
Don't be like Jim.
Because I just love people, shitting on the government and media and everything that's represented by the seats of corruption.
Yeah.
The government, in its almighty wisdom, outright forgot that they simply cannot extend the so-called state of emergency beyond 60 consecutive days. And since the ruling party already lost at least 17 percentage points just in the last 3 months alone, the idea of trying to prolong it was in itself unfeasible politically, even if it were possible legally, given the election time is coming in less than 7 months. But more on that in another video closer to that election. So, about a week before the end of the state of emergency, multiple groups, including our network, started agitating for protests because we calculated, as it turns out correctly, that the government cannot legally do anything to stop them starting from May the 15th, no matter how much they tried. The calculation was that if the police will get violent, like they did in August 2018, that's not so bad because such events routinely end up with the collapse of the government, which in itself would be a good thing as the so-called National Liberal Party has proven itself to be a criminal organization whose curve of existence should be flattened for sanitary reasons.
I just love that. I don't even care which party's in power, man. That curve needs to be flattened constantly. Fuck the government.
Unfortunately, the government's a bit too big here to flatten it, and the people are way too docile. I mean, yeah, there's riots, but
But
they're more obsessed with looting than actually taking down the government.
yeah, I know.
Which, I mean, yeah, looting's fun. I wouldn't mind, but
But we have obesity as a problem. When you go back through history, how many societies have had obesity as a problem affecting most of its inhabitants, including the poor, especially the poor.
Which, of course, doesn't apply to us at all.
The whole thing is, fucking shit. We got, throughout the ages, the poor have always been these skinny, rail-like things saying, please feed me. And for some reason, we lucked out and found the right combination of things, with our fucking economic plans to make the poor fat. How do you do that?
Well,
I mean, the poor should be looking Ethiopian,
Well, okay, the poor, and then there's the homeless people.
who are also fat. I gained weight while I was homeless.
It sort of depends. Here, they're sort of heroin-y.
Oh, heroin's a different deal. That'll thin you out no matter what. It's the best diet plan there is. Heroin and cocaine, crack, meth, those are things that'll help, thin you out real good.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Which, of course, the whole obesity thing doesn't apply to us at all. We're fucking fit as a fiddle.
That's right. I'm built like a shit house.
we're two fat fucks.
If, however, the police would not turn violent, then this would be a good opportunity to count our dictators, the paid shills, the provocateurs, and of course, get to meet new people and fellow travelers, and maybe make some new friends. Well, we didn't get any new friends, but got a bit of all the others during the 3 days of protests in Victoria Square. Why 3 days? Because the government couldn't get new regulations in place and abide the constitution at the same time. So they opted for patchwork legislation rushed through the parliament, which came into force on May the 18th. That one, the State of Alert Act, sort of bans protests-ish, but between May the 15th and May the 18th, well, nothing from a legal perspective. So the idiots in charge resorted to outright lying about the law, giving more money to the cathedral media, so they also lie and try to scare the normies, and perhaps, the funniest of all, the heads of the police, Ministry of Internal Affairs, and the gendarmerie engaged in the cringiest example of doublethink since the early 1990s. On TV, they would insist that all protests are banned under punishment of heavy fines, but in the field, they would engage in jokes with the protesters and the press, knowing full well that, legally speaking, merely touching any of us would have been a legal shitstorm which the police could not win, neither legally nor from a propaganda perspective.
That's so much fun.
Yes.
Whenever you got the cops underneath your heel.
Yeah, it's just too bad here that when cops are underneath your heel, they tend to react with, choking someone to death.
Yeah, and, fully automatic weapons, because look at me, I'm trained.
I just realized we're probably going to be watched now because I think I just made a veiled reference to, overthrowing the government. We're probably on the NSA's list now.
Oh, you new here? Welcome.
Like and subscribe.
Down with the government. All the political parties are the same bullshit. All political parties voted for these draconian policies which will destroy our economy and bring hunger in our country.
în această țară. Toate partidele ne-au sequestrat, toate partidele ne-au
All
ținut în
parties
casă.
sequestered us. All parties voted for national house arrest for us all.
Toate partidele,
All parties in the parliament are the same bullshit.
aceeași mizerie. Toate partidele, aceeași mizerie.
You know, that just brings me back to that one thing that I was talking about just 2 episodes ago. About how I was the one sitting there post 9/11 saying, don't be fucking signing away your rights, you fucking morons. Couple planes smacked into a building, big whoop. Terrorist attack all the time. People fucking go psycho all the time. You're never stopping it. Just because mental instability is here to stay, unless you decide to go completely eugenic and breed it out. But let's see, Germany tried that and they still have serial killers. Yeah, I don't think that works.
But what if more planes come? That was the, because I remember, I do remember the fear that was just the first strike in more planes coming or more people happening.
I do remember that too, and I'm like, well, fuck it, bring them on. We have a fucking military. We got fucking nukes. If it gets that bad, let it loose. I doubt they're gonna let it get that bad because these guys know we got the nukes and they don't.
My 7-year-old logic was basically like, well, how are you gonna, like, even if more happens, how you couldn't stop this, how are you gonna stop the rest? That was my 7-year-old logic. Well, you didn't. That was a surprise. I mean, you know, which I later found out that it wasn't a surprise, that there were a whole shitload of red flags that nobody mentioned, like the fact that, you know, people, these guys were taking airline courses, you know, flight courses or whatever, and were more interested in how to steer planes mid flight than, you know, taking off and landing and all that.
You see, me growing up through my up to my 20s, I had seen more than enough, you know, plane hijackings on the news, you know, and these were big terrorist statements.
Oh, they
then
were
I
great.
saw the suicide bombing in, where the fuck was it? I think it was the Kenya embassy or something. It might have been somewhere else. It was one of the embassy bombings. It was a suicide bombing. This was back in like 97, 98. And I remember I put 2 and 2 together. Well, if they're willing to drive a truck and blow themselves up, what the fuck's going to stop them from all these plane hijackings they always do to wreck a plane into something?
So that was just the whole thing. So I was, well, like I said, my little kid logic was, well, you didn't know this was going to happen. How do you know if anything else is going to happen? So.
Fuck. Of course, people are always willing to suckle on the teeth because, oh my god, fear. Yeah, you're pussies.
Yay.
Toate partidele, aceeași mizerie. Toate partidele, aceeași mizerie. Toate partidele, aceeași mizerie. Toate partidele, aceeași mizerie.
So thus the protests began on Friday, and in parallel, those who couldn't join us helped with the propaganda war. The protests themselves weren't important. This is something everyone in the field knew all too well. The propaganda about them was important. So at first, the cathedral media claimed that we're all spreading the Wuhan flu in downtown Bucharest by doing group hugs. As you can all see in the footage from day one, this was so far away from reality that even the paid shills dropped this attack line in under 1 hour. Then the media focused on the loons, all 3 of them, out of an over 500 people gathering. That worked for a while until even some of those who buy into the propaganda started asking, hold on a second, if it's a gathering of anti-vaxxers and conspiracists and loons and so on and so forth, why are we seeing the same 3 people interviewed? Aren't they?
That's usually what happens here, too. They get the most brain-dead fucking inbred fucking, oh my god. God, how many times can father fuck daughter and mother fuck son to produce such a person that is this brainless, never went to school a day in their lives? They interview them as a representative of this giant fucking protest,
And they keep interviewing them. I mean, well, that's a very known tactic. I mean, I remember when the whatever you have to think about the Occupy things or whatever. they interviewed with the Occupy things were people who had no idea what they were talking about. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we're doing this because we feel aggressed. We feel like we're being aggressed. We're being aggressed, not oppressed, but aggressed, as in aggressive. That was the line that they told that we're being aggressed, and I was just like, what are you talking? What aggressed by who? The banks?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
You know, God forbid anyone have any valid points. Let's obfuscate it by getting the looniest among the group and interview them. This is what they're all about.
oh yeah, those are the
And they
spokespeople.
tried that fucking group hug nonsense, and I've seen footage of the protests over here, and half of them are wearing masks.
Yeah.
They still got it up, and the
That
ones
was
that
the
are
funny.
masks
That
are.
was the funny part. I don't know if you saw the looting of the Target in Minneapolis, but from what I know from people who can see, most of them are wearing masks. So burning things down is fine, but don't but cover your faces.
Well, technically, the masks help obfuscate they're committing a crime, and the fact that it's mandated to wear
Yeah, but
masks
the fact
now.
they're face coverings, I
But you
think.
have to sit there and think about it, okay? When is the best opportunity to. Okay, there are signs up in banks around Halloween that says take the mask off. Before you come into the bank, take your mask off.
Yeah.
Some even go so far to say take your mask off and smile for the camera when you come in. You know,
Yeah.
this is so they can ID you. So now we're in a state where you have to wear a mask to do business. Well, this is the perfect
Sweet.
opportunity to obfuscate your identity whenever you commit a crime, is it not?
Sweet. I'm gonna go rob a bank. No one will ever tell me apart. Fat 6 foot blind guy with.
Well, you should see some of these people, how much alike they do look, because, they're still kids and haven't gotten enough scars to define any features.
Yes.
Once you get older, fatter, and knocked around a bit more about life, then yeah, you're a little bit more easy to identify, even with a mask on.
Yeah.
But whenever you're a kid, it's easier to blend in with the crowd because you're more agile. You look like all the other kids around. They can't see the rest of your face. It's all obfuscated. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit easier to get away with shit.
That doesn't annoy you. I can't do anything. I'm too recognizable.
Mm-hmm. That does make me sad.
That makes me sad because then I'd ask you to film it for this show. I
I mean, that's how we ran our scam whenever I was the decoy. Because I'd walk in,
mhm.
and not many people in my area were into like punk or metal or anything. So I'd walk in with this fucking leather jacket painted to the hilt with all kinds of obscenity and band names, spikes on it, wearing my Flaming Skull t-shirt, torn jeans, walking in looking like I was going to steal something, then go to the back of the store beneath the cameras and drop it, where no one was watching. Then my friends would come in dressed at the height of prep, completely innocent looking, and they looked just like every other kid that came in that their parents dressed them,
Yeah.
and they'd be looting the place left and right while all eyes were on me. That's how we got away with it. I was the most easily identifiable. I looked like trouble, yet the sweet innocent ones were the ones doing it.
By the way, really quick before we get back to you guys think I'm joking here, but I'm not. If Jim were to ever like die in some sort of accident, I would use and if it was on film, I would definitely use his death to open up the show, and he would do the same for me. If oh,
Exactly.
I'm sorry, our host died. Here's video. Ah!
He's on fire again, and now he's going through the chipper shredder slowly while on fire. This is new realms of pain and suffering. Shoot me in the head. And
And
that's when I
here's our
shut
new
the machine off, put out the fire, and tried to let him live a little bit longer so he'd scream in pain. What?
and here's our new co-host, a chimp.
Exactly.
He's throwing a shit again.
Let's watch some more of this civil unrest. I love it.
They like hundreds. And that was the problem, because the claims in the gathering, while indeed not unified, given that many small groups, including left-wing groups, attended, the claims were quite diverse. Yes, from ridiculous conspiracies to dubious geopolitical claims, but also to claims about the supremacy of the Constitution, which this government has violated several times and is now being sued by thousands of individuals. Claims about policy, especially the policy of forcibly putting asymptomatic cases of the Chinese virus straight into the hospital, a practice that almost everyone else on the planet abandoned months ago. Claims about patients that are not being treated due to the exaggerated focus on the commie cough, and even syndicalist claims. Oh, and even claims rooted in the US tradition of individual liberty. Ouch. That's a problem. So the cathedral meeting.
I love it whenever people saying USA wanting liberty is such a slur. You know, from listening to people from overseas use it as like this biggest slur. Fucking Americans and their goddamn rights. They're useless because they want rights. I just love it being used as a slur. It's like, yeah, I enjoy that. Keep going. Like it's somehow belittling me for wanting to fuck over the government.
Well, look at the people who fucking champion it. That's why it's a slur. It's not a slur because the rights thing. It's a slur because look at look at the people who wear the liberty thing on their sleeve. You have the fucking militia groups, which are interesting, but
I mean, some of them
uh,
got some of the militias that I'm up to have their shit together, they're a lot smarter than what they're given credit for, because guess what? There are also the dumbass militias out there that are fucking completely brain dead, giving them all a bad name.
no, I'm not saying they're not smart. Timothy McVeigh was quite intelligent. He just happened to be a nut job.
You get that too sometimes, and then like the more reputable militias try to
That was
weed them out quick.
that was the thing about reading his thing, was that I was so used to reading about, serial killers of like average intelligence, or like, I don't know why I did it. I did it because it was fun. Or Elliot Rogers' thing, who thought he was super smart.
God, I
But
hated that.
McVeigh was actually quite intelligent. He just happened to be a fucking wacko. Which
Yeah.
how did it feel to be killed in that bombing, Jim?
Oh, I know. I died in the Oklahoma City bombing, and that's what
How
my father told fucking financial aid when they called home.
how painful was it to be blasted to death by a truck bomb?
I don't know. Considering I've never been there, I guess it hurt pretty bad.
It flew all the way to Pennsylvania.
Hmm. They bottled a piece of the explosion, brought it the whole way to PA, and unleashed it right in my face, just so they could say I died in the Oklahoma City bombing.
That's dedication right there.
Hmm.
Media got a hint from their German friends and came up with the usual trick. Everyone in the Victoria Square is paid for by the Russians. So the cathedral media got a hint from their
The true killer virus is the totalitarianism. SARS-CoV-2 is just a spreader.
German friends and came up with the usual trick. Everyone in the Victoria Square is paid for by the Russians. The evidence? Well, just like with the loons, a resounding number of 3, there were also 3 or 4 individuals who are known to be or have been or having been connected in the past with Russia.
This criminal parliament should be sent to forced labor or sent down the drain.
Ultimately, for the cathedral media, this trick doesn't really work in this country, for the simple reason that this is a country where disdain for Russia is so widespread that it simply isn't an allegation that just sticks. You kinda need evidence, more than just 3 people. Maybe these were paid for by Putin too? Or perhaps this fella? But just to make that clear, in the second day, the protesters brought further clarification. By Saturday evening, the memed image of these fine gentlemen was getting a bigger audience than almost all of the cathedral media combined. The meme reads, "If these are the pro-Russians..."
Bessarabia was taken 208 years since we've been hating Russia.
I wish I was Russian because I would love to be just hated and feared by everyone.
Oh
Because
God, whenever I was in college, that was one of the reasons I took Russian as one of my electives. I wanted to learn a language that everyone would deem evil.
yeah, it's funny because I know some Russians and they're like, I don't know, they're like some of the nicest people I've met.
Yeah, the verbiage whenever you're speaking Russian sounds nice, energetic, like you're always pissed off, but you're not. You pick
What
up
she's
on this
actually
whenever you
saying,
heard enough of it, and I
what
barely remember half the vocab.
what
Maybe
she's
even,
actually saying is, "Do you want a piece of candy?"
yeah.
But it's like German. You ever heard like the announcers from German whenever they get excited in racing? It sounds like they're calling for your death. What they're actually saying is, "Wow, that was a great move on the track."
Exactly.
But it sounds like they're calling for you to be executed.
Hmm.
Then you are the stupid. Ouch.
Stop lying to us. Where there is risk, there must be choice.
But the aspects that the cathedral didn't show are the aspects that mattered, of course. For instance, the police expected no more than 20 people to show up in the first day and less than 10 in the second day. In reality, 500-ish showed up in the first day and 400-ish in the second day at the peak, with the second day being a lot better organized and fit for purpose than the first day. The purpose being, of course, the propaganda dispute. And that's what's really pissing off the establishment and the liberal shills. The fact that almost all of the peeps that
With insane tactics, we're being. What was that?
really pissing off the
With insane tactics, we're being separated through isolation.
establishment and the liberal shills. The fact that almost all of the peeps that attended are fully aware of the methods, the legal tools, and the steps necessary to implement an agitprop operation. The liberal shills are aware that if implemented correctly, by the election time, the National Liberal Party not only won't be
The government is the pimp. The press is the whore, spelling press with like the euro and dollar signs. I like that.
part of the governing coalition, but may as well risk staying out of the next parliament. Of course, none of them will admit any of that in public. So they just double down. In many ways, kinda like the Democrats in the United States who know they'll be in serious trouble come November, but they have to keep up with the charade, hoping to at least eke some votes from the new converts to the religion of lockdownism. Besides the political interest, there is the financial interest, and not just in Romania, but almost everywhere else too. In the case of my country, at least $10 billion have vanished into all sorts of highly dubious expenses, such as ungodly salaries for the so-called hero doctors, who for the most part slept through the so-called pandemic as most hospitals stood empty for over 2 months, various military-style hospitals who treated exactly 0 people, various so-called protective equipment which protected exactly nobody, and so on and so forth. Suffice to say that the National Anti-Corruption Directorate, the institution lauded by the New York Times, will have a lot of work in the next few years.
Screw the political parties. Screw the entirety of the current political class. Yes!
Ultimately, this will be a propaganda dispute for the next 6 to 7 months. As explained a few weeks ago,
The one guy had a sign saying, "Where's my rubles?" If I'm being paid by Russia, they better actually pay me.
Yay, where's my rubles?
politics always wins. The Wuhan flu is not even a flu, it's just a cough, as more and more data comes in and becomes clear that essentially all of the policies adopted allegedly to curb this allegedly dangerous cough were not just useless, but have done a lot more harm in a few months than this cough could have done in several decades, assuming it lives that long. But proving that is not enough.
Fear will turn you into a slave. Amen to that. Fuck. Did it in 9/11. Did it now. Bastards. Learn the lesson. Live life a little bit. Take a few chances. Come on.
That's not human
the-
nature, you know that.
Yeah, I know. Everyone likes to be cowered by fear because they love it.
Well, why do you think there were so many wars, and why do you think there were so many, why do you think, in the pre-internet days, it was always easy for the rulers to bend the human population to their will? I mean, until it got so bad that they finally rose up. But how many injustices did it take for them to rise up? And it was, oh look, we're being attacked. Accept these rules,
I
or
think it
you're one of
was.
them.
I forget, but I remember. Might have even been in Romania where it happened. Could have been another country though. That was part of the former communist bloc. The thing that started their revolution against the communists. The final straw was no smoking in taverns. Well,
Yeah,
fuck
I
that.
mean,
If I can't have a cigarette while I'm chugging down a beer to forget the fact that all this other shit's happening, fuck you. City's on fire now. I'm taking your skulls.
But I mean, but it does take so long for it to get that way. And as all you have to do is say we're being attacked, accept these rules. And so it's the same with this internet age. Although people now just post on Twitter that they're mad and then go back to their lives.
Uh-huh.
The truth is not relevant. What's relevant is winning the politics of the Chinese cough. And winning the politics of it requires action. Protests are just a tiny portion of that. A lot more important will be the lawfare, the propaganda dispute, the naming and shaming of all of the so-called experts who were consistently wrong in ways that very few people imagined they could be, and yes, the personal punishment of all those who knew better but chose to shill in the wrong direction for personal interests.
That's one thing I hope I could do with this, with the fucking PA governor situation, try to extend things and be like all pussy about it, is to make people recall this hatred for the next few elections, just so we can vote out the bastards who supported the governor and all this.
I'm involved in this sprint car community on Facebook, and a lot of sprint car fans are from Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Posse, a bunch of drivers from Pennsylvania, more to the north of the state, I think. Although I'm pretty sure there's racing in Southwest. I don't know.
No, it's definitely in Southwest. God, we go up to what the fuck's it called? I forget the name of the track, but I know it's only like a half-hour drive.
Well, I'll have to look that. I don't know geography of Pennsylvania. It's like the time when Jim thought San Francisco.
Maybe a bit closer to South Central, but still, because that's out towards.
It's like the time when Jim thought San Francisco was like down the street from me. No. So anyway, people are pissed because Selinsgrove, which is a track in PA, was supposed to have a race, and everyone was. And I think even the governor said, "Yeah, we'll have this race. No fans, but cars racing, and basically give these guys something to do, give the teams a job and things like that." I think the Friday of the governor turns, you know what, we're not going to have this race at Selinsgrove, and people are pissed off about that still.
Good. Hopefully, I can harness that hatred.
Hopefully, but yeah, I don't know the Pennsylvania. So if I ever say like, oh, is that near you, Jim? And then the funny thing is, Jim doesn't even know. He's
Sometimes I have to look up on a map because I don't know all the towns near me. It's like, okay, that's a half hour away. That's 15 minutes. Didn't even know that existed. Oh, so that's that little shithole I drove through a million times. No, that's the other side of the state, fucker.
I'll sometimes say like, oh yeah, I love the old Langhorne track, and Jim, where the hell's Langhorne?
You know who they are in your countries. Keep those lists. You will badly need them.
To hell with the truth. Don't lie to the people. No, tell the truth. Don't lie to the people.
Over the next few months, everyone interested in doing justice to this topic and winning the politics of the commie cough should be very busy with discrediting every single media institution that pushed for the extremist policies. discrediting every single expert that's shielded for this, discrediting every single politician who's shielded for this, and of course, never let any professional shill sleep well. Wherever you see them and you have an audience, make sure you let the audience know that this person is a shill. Forever and ever till the end of time. Because if you don't, they win. As we always say here, entropy is on the side of the totalitarians. Light is on the side of liberty. So drag them kicking and screaming, metaphorically speaking, straight into the sunlight, for sunlight is the best disinfectant, both metaphorically and literally, since sunlight is in itself of great help in curing any respiratory disease, including the Chinese cough. We will do our part here, but our friends in other countries should do theirs too.
Alright, he's just gonna go off now, but I think I've got enough footage of this thing.
Except for with me, because I prefer the dark and the night. Fuck the
You're
sun.
just gonna die. Well, I got no choice but to work out in the sun. All people spit on me as they drive past screaming, "You fucker, you can't close this road!" Fine, enjoy the fucking bulldozer that's gonna run over you then. Have fun. Like I care about your life. The only reason I'm doing this is so that I get a paycheck, and if you die, well, I get less of a paycheck. I might even lose my job if you die. So, but, otherwise, I don't care if you live or die.
Yes, personally, I'm more inclined for you to be run over by the bulldozer. I mean, if you people being run over by a bulldozer, they'll learn fast.
Oh my God! Well, not if their kids were run over, because obviously they just want to change them up for new ones. Because they're bloody inconveniences.
Just, set a bit of examples. That's why I can't be in charge of anything ever. Because I just get so fed up with, okay, fine. You're mad about it? Here, we're going to leave it open. See? That's what happens when we don't have people directing traffic.
Die, human, die.
Is there more to that video, or can I play my other theme song?
Yeah, let's play your other theme song.
All right. This is a call to action.
City street corner, no laws to keep us down. Every church a slaughterhouse, every courtroom a vicious shootout. A big hanging from every flagpole, a mass of nothing in the black hole. No future for the moralist, no future for the weak. From the shadows within my soul, I call for brutality and bloodshed for all. With disobedience, for which I stand. One nation swimming in blood, one nation living in sin. Death on every street corner, no law to keep us down. Every church a slaughterhouse, every courtroom a vicious shootout. A big hanging from every flagpole, a knife shoved up the system's asshole. No future for the moralist, no future for the weak. Of the shadows within my soul, I call for brutality and bloodshed for all. shadows within my soul. I call the brutality and blood shed for all. A big hanging from every black hole. A knife shoved up the system's asshole. No future for the moralist. No future for the weak. From the shadows within my soul, I call for brutality and blood shed for all. B-L-O-O-D, F-A-K-D, now. B-L-O-O-D, F-A-K-D, now. B-L-O-O-D, F-A-K-D, now. B-L-O-O-D, F-A-K-D, now.
Brutality and Bloodshed for All by G.G. Allen and the Murder Junkies. That album is one of the... I can't listen to that album in full, except for on special circumstances, because it fills me with murderous rage. And there's going to be some violence. So yes, I guess that would be my political beliefs. I just like shit's disturbing. I've never really liked the word troll. I've always thought the word troll was kind of, bleh. I am a shit disturber.
Did you know that May 23rd was the beginning of the Trail of Tears?
I did not know that, actually.
Yeah, we're talking about 1830 when the government passed the Indian Removal Act. Yeah, you gotta move all those damn Native Americans to their new fucking shitholes.
Yep. Gotta move them out because we need the land.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I did not know that.
I mean, don't sit there and think the Indians were all those peaceful, hippie-loving types. There was plenty of war and bloodshed between them all.
Yeah,
still. But this is still a jack move.
But yes, I didn't know the date, but interesting.
Yeah, and then there was also... I mean, it just reminds me of like whenever the fucking National Guard was called in. My one buddy, Stern, he was actually about ready to go up and fucking defend the fucking reservation up in New York because, New York had to have their fucking tobacco taxes. And, the reservations are supposed to be, run like their own little autonomous mini nations outside of our government influence by most part.
But that's not that doesn't happen.
That's not going to happen, no, because whenever we need money or whatever from them, we can treat them like shit whenever we want to. God damn.
In the Wargol book, the Apaches got their revenge by detonating a nuke in New York. That was a fun little section. Read the Wargol book by Dave Rocky. Do it, scum.
Yeah. I still liked how your eyes lit up. I could hear your eyes lighting up like a kid in a candy store as you said, "Is this real? Do I get to do this?" Whenever we could launch nuclear warheads at NCR and Legion. That was just a huge ton of excitement. That was almost as good as like, "Oh my god, we get to nuke the Brotherhood with an orbital blast? Yes!"
Or the time where I was playing a Texas Adventure and, wait, I can actually push this guy off the tower? Can I eat him? I can eat him! I can eat him! Yes, the nuking the Brotherhood with the orbital thing. That was fun. And then they got a nasty surprise when they flew over it.
Yes, and we just started killing them all. Fuck
This
them all.
thing must be broken. Oh god, it's not broken.
Oh my god, it's not broken. We're broken. You're the traitor. I've wanted to do this since day one.
So, yeah, I guess it's kind of... Although, if Broken Steel wasn't an add-on, I'd call the game even shittier.
Yeah.
Honestly, if Broken Steel was an add-on, I'd be, mighty pissed off. But it's okay, I
still love the moral decision of the pit, because it's like, okay, you have civilization being rebuilt. Things are going actually kind of okay. And they have a cure for the disease lined up, and they're just perfecting it. And they have the technology and know how to do it without sacrificing the kid involved in the process. Little baby can live in this scenario. The downside is slavery continues until society is rebuilt. On the flip side, you can free the slaves because, yes, slavery's a fucking horrid fucking sack of shit. But you lose society. Things are left in a completely anarchic state. There's rioting in the streets. People are being slaughtered left and right under suspicion of being a slave or not.
And the people who take over don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. They don't even know how. They don't have the scientific resources to derive a cure from the kid, so chances are they'll kill the kid before they can even figure out how to make a cure from him.
Yep. So that's the choice.
But
of course,
you freed the slaves. Good on you. That was a beautiful decision right there.
Yes.
Because, like, which do you value more? Society, stability, safety, or freedom?
I think I know what Jenny Fuck values more.
Oh, she valued slavery.
Yes, she does.
It wasn't even a moral decision for her on that dimension. It was a completely opposite. Anything remotely sane went out the window. Okay. Fuck compassion for your fellow man.
Fuck compassion and fuck the moral decision. She just wants.
And the time she spent as a slave wasn't so bad. You just had to do some gymnastics, grab some ingots, and there you go.
She thought she thought she was going to be some sort of like worshipful, brainwashed sex slave. In fact, she's probably looking forward to it.
Yeah, and here they just said, "What, you got to do work? What the fuck's wrong with you people? You can't work? Get back to work, slaves! Fuck you."
Yes. So that's. I'm trying to think of more songs about rioting.
This was all about, fucking shit. I don't care about songs about rioting.
I do.
If you actually want to listen to music, fine. I'll give you some music, okay? was Funerus with Death of a God off of their Reduced to Sludge album.
I actually found that in a store. I was very surprised to actually find that in the record store, because I know they were sort of known, but it was still kind of weird. In the sort of Central California, 2015. Of course, I bought that shit. I bought a couple other, but yeah, I was like, oh, I found Funerus. Of course, that's the wife of John from Incantation. John's actually in the band as well. Great band. And Kyle from Incantation's also in the band, who, if you know a certain grindcore band, has a mustache.
Did you know that Mark Zuckerberg just announced all of Facebook's future decisions will be made by the Cube of Justice?
As it should be. The Cape of Justice is very justicey cape. So yeah, that's Fallout 3 that we're mentioning. If you don't know what we're talking about, Fallout 3 in New Vegas.
The Cube, it cannot be questioned. It cannot be misled.
Well, hell, a couple of years ago, if you started talking, I wouldn't know what you were talking about. So yeah, we're playing 3 in New Vegas. We finished 1 and we're doing 2. So that's what we're referring to.
That was a sad day whenever we lost our slave and our indentured servant. Those were 2 deaths that took us pretty bad. Because we lost a few pack mules.
And then we had to go kill 97,000.
And the worst part was we just paid for a slave in the previous city in the first battle we get into. Oh no, this is turning against me.
And then we had to go kill 18,000 mole rats. Which was pointless.
Yes, we had to step outside the cave after each batch we killed just to rest for a few days to get our hit points back because we were out of stem packs.
Yes.
Great. So, fuck finding the quest to save our village. We're just gonna kill mole rats for a few weeks. At the same cave. In the middle of nowhere. At the same random encounter which cost the lives of my traveling companions, whom I purchased.
We purchased. But yes, riots on the streets, at least in one city. So that's always fun.
It's going to grow. We're going to get more the longer this lockdown continues. There's going to be more rioting in the streets, and it's going to be hilarious watching all these people screaming they want the workers' rebellion, all of a sudden realize that they're the ones the workers are rebelling against.
Well, one can hope either that or here's a new thing. Okay, we'll go back to being locked slaves. Never underestimate the apathy of the American public. But I hope you're right. I do hope you're right, because, hey, riots are fun.
Well, sometimes people get their wishes and their lockdowns last, until next year sometime.
Yeah, they can't last until next year. That's the funny part.
Well, yeah, there would be way too much destruction to infrastructure at that time.
I mean, thankfully, people are already looking to open up, and Riverside lost so much money that they finally had to open up.
Yay!
That was one of my favorite. So people are already looking to open up, and I think in a few years we'll look at this lockdown as the time everyone went completely fucking insane.
Oh, kind of like all that post 9/11 nonsense, and everyone looks back saying that was the time we went completely fucking insane.
Oh yeah, I love reading about that time. Just because, like I said, I was 7 or 8 years old. I didn't know, but just the fear, and the paranoia, and the everything that happened. I love reading about from that time. It's same thing with after the Oklahoma City and after, of course, after Columbine, everything did go insane and is still insane. I am so glad I'm not a school student. Like when I was a kid, all I had to do was mention the word gun. Not even it was
If we were reading it straight from a textbook, and as part of a class assignment, 16 SWAT teams would be called in.
Well, it wasn't quite that extreme, but it was. I mentioned something academic. I heard about a gun the other day. oh, you can't mention guns. I'm like, wait, I can't even mention like that they exist, really? So I always thought that was like, or if if you had like a toy like Fisher Price, So yeah, I thought it got a little bit, and now it's even worse. Thankfully, I didn't go to school where they had the kids carry like ID cards and fucking metal detectors and things like that,
Yeah, I know. God.
or stop and search.
Fascist crap makes me sick.
Stop and there's a great Jello Biafra did a great. I don't always agree with him, but he did a great thing about it called Hell Burbia, about the paranoia, and of course we gotta blame Marilyn Manson and Doom. I wonder what we're gonna blame now. Oh yeah, alt-right message boards.
Mm.
I have
Oh,
screwdriver.
wow. You know, we gotta blame 4chan, the home of pussies who couldn't even take, God, one joke.
It used to be. Oh no, and then we gotta blame Porno Grind.
Oh, yeah,
Which
blame
I mean,
porno
yeah,
grind.
I'm not a huge fan of a lot of Porno Grind because a lot of it is drum machine and very groovy, and you
Some
know,
of it's hilarious, but,
well, some of it's hilarious, but the meat shits are my kind of porno grind because they're actual grindcore. Granted, I
mhm.
don't like a lot of porn, but I don't think it doesn't make people hate. I mean, you talk to Ryan from Intestinal Disgorge, okay?
Mhm.
Did he come across as an evil misogynist?
Obviously, he has to.
It was it was it was funny because he used to play live. I think he actually played with Mr. Bungle a couple last year. That was really weird. Anyway, he used to play live around like San Antonio. He was telling the story, and for those of you who don't know, we interviewed Ryan from Intestinal Disgorge, and you all should listen to it because I thought it was a great interview. And he was saying that because he started writing, basically as like a parody of porno grinding, horse splattered walls and things like that, and people started calling him a misogynist because they couldn't take a joke. And he goes, "Okay, if you want, you know, if you think I'm a misogynist, here we're gonna write an album called Vagina, all about anti-feminine." It was completely messed up. But that was it was a reaction to being labeled as something you're not.
Mhm.
He's a cool guy. We gotta have him back on the show one of these days. But anyway, so yes, porno grinds. I mean, even Metal Sucks is now calling for porno grind to be banned and things like that. So
Yeah, he gotta ban everything because, oh my God, words.
in the 80s, it was Slayer and Ozzy Osbourne and King Diamond, and in the 90s it was Marilyn Manson, rap, and Cannibal Corpse. Now it's porno grind and like I don't know, Nazi metal. I guess.
Oh, all metal's Nazi.
Oh yeah, except for the ones that we personally champion. That's the only metal you're allowed to listen to, folks.
Except for the fact that, that's these underground sites still attempting to maintain their fucking cred, desperately clinging to it, while the mainstream sites are like, no, that's Nazi too.
Yes. Oh, and no second chances. Okay. I don't like As They Lay Dying. I mean, they're probably one of the best metalcore bands, but that's like saying you're the that's not saying much.
You are the best turd out of the shit I just took.
I have the good kind of sexually transmitted disease.
Yes,
Or you're the most attractive person in Pittsburgh. Oh!
exactly. That is a depressing lot.
Anyway, so I can listen to a couple albums or whatever. They're whatever. Then, like I said, they're the best, one of the best metalcore bands. That's not saying much. Tim Lambesis, however you say his name, he did something very stupid. Okay, he tried to hire a hitman to kill his wife, which is completely reprehensible, and he's an asshole. He did go to prison for a couple years for it. Okay.
Did the time. Are we going to let a rehabilitative justice system attempt to rehabilitate? No, we must destroy him now that he's out. Keep destroying. Destroy. He served his time. I don't care. Keep
But
destroying.
he was released from prison. He's released a new album that I haven't heard, and I have really no desire to. And so far I haven't heard any incidents of him doing anything weird like that. Okay, but people are still, he should still be in prison. Well, he's gonna have to live with the fact that he spent years in jail, and the fact that everyone's gonna know him as the guy who tried to. Oh, he tried to hire. It was an undercover cop. That's how he got busted.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I don't like the guy's music, but fuck, he paid he did time. Let it go, people.
He did the crime. He did the time. It's time to see if he fucking adjusts. It looks like he's adjusted to normal society and not.
I mean, I wouldn't marry him.
Yeah.
but or okay, the guy from Vector, okay, was accused of domestic violence, which is again reprehensible. I don't approve of that at all. He spent 11 months away from the internet. Now, we don't know what happened in those 11 months. He could have gone to therapy. He could have talked it over with people. He could have done heroin. We don't know what happened in those 11 months. He came back and people rejoined his band, former bandmates, which says to me that he must have done something to make it up to his friends. Hey, look, I'm if it is true, then I truly regret what I did, and blah, blah, blah. But people are still saying, oh, you shouldn't be allowed to do anything. It's like, okay, yeah, what he did was fucked up, and I don't approve of it at all. But, like I said, it seems like he may have gone through some things and expressed remorse. But
you also got another side to all this shit where people just hound on anything based on rumor. And there was this one guy named Pro Jared who does this like video game review shtick, and he had come out. And what happened was this person came out and said, "Oh my God, he did all these things to me while I was underage and blah 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 blah." And then and he went quiet for a while after that because what the fuck, because there's a huge hate storm now, you fucking pedophile and all this shit.
yes,
And then he came back and showed evidence that, this whole thing is bullshit. I was accused unjustly. And, people were jumping on without giving him a chance to say, well, what's your side of this? They just wanted him dead.
no,
And,
but no,
when
we
he
don't
came
care
out
what.
and he showed the evidence, it's like, yeah, okay, fine. He's into weird sexual things. Whoopee, okay. Dressing up as Sailor Moon or Sailor Venus or whatever. Whatever. I don't care about that.
Whatever.
But
Who else?
the
Who
whole
isn't into
thing
weird
was
sexual-
the logs of the chats and everything were as long as you're over 18, it's cool. Okay. Yeah. So if the kid still did this and then later recanted saying, no, I was underage, then that's on the kid for conning him.
Yeah. But so yeah, no, but we don't care about what the other person's story. I mean, about the Kyle Larson thing? I mentioned it a couple days ago. He said something he shouldn't have on a chat when he thought his microphone wasn't. And I wasn't going to talk about this, and I wasn't going to throw this guy under the bus because I really do like him. But fine, fuck it. Marshall Pruitt, and I think I've just blown any chances of any career in motor journalism. Marshall Pruitt, who is a broadcaster or journalist that I really like, and he's a nice guy. And like I said, I was going to be quiet about this because I really didn't want to burn any bridges. But he wrote an article for Road and Track about how we don't know the real Kyle Larson and blah 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 blah. And two things, not to justify what he said, right? Because it's a stupid thing to say or whatever. It's a dumb thing to call people. The word that he used when I went to high school was ubiquitous in California high school. I'm not saying it's right, and he probably should learn his lesson, but that was ubiquitous back when I went to high school. Okay? And he's only 2 years older than me. So I kind of get it, but his whole thing was he a half-hearted apology. He hasn't done enough to really show that he's remorse. Well, I don't know if you noticed, Pruitt, but we're in a lockdown. What's he gonna do? Go around the neighborhood and I'm sorry, what all can he do? Because that was the whole thing, is that he hasn't done enough to show that he's really sorry, other than posting an apology video on Twitter. And like I said, well, what's he supposed to do? Go to community outreach centers? Hi, how about they're closed because we're in a lockdown because of a pandemic? And that, I like Marshall, but that article kind of pissed me off. And that's but that's the whole thing. The whole message that I got from his article is, we don't honestly care what the person says to defend themselves. We're going to pass judgment, and whatever he says, if he posts an apology video or if he does that, we don't care. He's still a racist, or he's still a pedophile, or he's still a murderer, or he's still
or hell, the moment you apologize, well, that's blood in the water. I can attack some more and get them to grovel even more. Let's
it was
keep
a
attacking
half-hearted.
and see how much they can grovel.
It was a half-hearted apology. He didn't apologize enough. Well, what do you want him to do? Do you want him to bend down and suck your dick, Marshall? Is that what you want?
Maybe he's saying it just to keep his job. Maybe he actually thinks that way.
I don't know. I hope he doesn't think that way, because he does actually seem like a bright person who isn't. I mean, or maybe he's just because he wanted Larson on his podcast, like he did with Ferrucci last year. But I don't know. I wasn't gonna say anything about it because I really do like Marshall, and I was just gonna let it go. But I don't know. I thought it was a shitty article, and I thought he dropped the ball big time. But whatever. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's saying it just to keep his job at Road and Track. All I know is, hey, Larson's won a sprint car race, and what have you done? How many sprint car races have you won? Oh yeah, none. Now I've just completely killed any chance I have of being a being in the racing community.
Yes, we do nothing but kill all chances all the time.
We have to kill all chances of everybody. So, but that's my problem, as you said, is it doesn't matter what he says, because he hasn't said enough. He hasn't done enough. If he kneels in front of Jesus and converts to Christianity, then he hasn't converted enough. So once you've done it, you're screwed for life, basically, or until we forget about it. I mean, Kobe Bryant, okay, the basketball guy who was killed in a helicopter crash earlier this year, and one of my friends wrote a great article about how everyone's so sad about the death of a rapist, because he had that rape controversy a couple years ago that everyone seems to have forgotten. Because he's a great basketball player. If it was you in the middle of that controversy, even if you didn't do it, you better. If you died, you know what everyone would say.
Good riddance.
Yeah, but he's a great basketball player, and we just conveniently forgot that happened. So, that's...
Oh yay! Let's hear some more.
Let's hear some more.
Corruption, rebellion, enemy, God, life, salvation, agony.
Come on, time or you will die. Your friends suffer indifferent. My son is not. War is not for you. Dreams are nightmares which never end. Your blood will run together with the blood of your friends. In the fire for forgiveness, you will stay alive. So war.
That was Scrotum Death with Revolution of Death off their 1990 demo, Revolution of Death.
Nice. Another band I actually haven't heard of. Wow. You're doing good. Um, I just don't like people who try to claim the moral high ground or try to take a situation and moralize. I used to moralize a long time ago until I realized that, I've done horrible things too.
Look, you want to know what the moral high ground is. Okay. It's bullshit. For two reasons. One, people who claim it from the beginning are attempting to obfuscate the fact that they don't even live up to their own moral standards. They are bereft of morality. And how they obfuscate it is by pointing out everyone else's flaws. Usually the same things they do on a constant basis, but the fact they're pointing out other people's flaws draws attention away from their own. The other one are people who get suckered into attempting to claim the moral high ground. In this instance, you're eventually either going to have to live up to your moral standards, which means now whenever you fuck up and you have to say you fucked up, you're going to lose most of your following because, oh my God, I thought they were so pure. Or you're going to have to sell out your own morality to obfuscate the fact you fucked up because someone's going to fuck up worse.
Well, it also it brings out the people who like to it, the witch hunt usually turns on the hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you better make sure if you're going to be moral high ground when moralizing, you better make sure that you have a very very clean past because I mean, how
And
many?
no one's path is that clear.
I mean, the girl who started the Me Too movement was accused of like sexually assaulting like a 14-year-old kid boy, which I mean, okay, if we're going lowest common denominator here, which we are because we always do, fucking
We are
stop
the
complaining.
lowest common denominator. We're even beneath that.
Fucking stop complaining. If you're 14, you're getting hit on by a fucking older chick. I'd be in heaven. I would have been in heaven back then. Okay, now that we've completely ruined like any chance we have an audience again. uh, I don't even think about what I say anymore. I just sort of say it.
I think that's what pisses people off the most is the fact that we're the types of people that don't really sit there. I mean, I keep my mouth shut at work. Work's
Yeah.
different,
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But when I'm off work, and I don't have to rely. I mean, everyone sees me out and about at work, and it's like he's the quiet one. Yeah, that's because I learned not to say a
You have
single
to be the quiet
damn
one.
thing, or else I get fired because 2 words, and it's the most vulgar thing you've ever heard.
It's like those teenage boys with the hotter older teacher or whatever. I'm just thinking, what the fuck are you complaining about?
I mean, the main thing is then you get the teacher sitting there, well, now you're going to pay for this kid. Well, I sit at home. Wait, you were making good money. You could have supported the family. Now you're demanding this 17-year-old man up and pay for a kid that you. What?
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here, complete degenerate, and going, "What the fuck are you complaining about?" If I was a kid and that happened, I'd be like, "Okay."
I mean, just the sex and shit, fine, dandy, but, some of these bitches are so desperate for a kid, they know that these kids are going to be real easy. It feels better without the condom.
Must
And now
breed.
then she gets knocked up, gets with her baby craze. It's like, yay, I got a baby now. Now you're gonna pay for it while I lays about eating bonbons.
Well, then hey, it's just
I mean, you had this chick that fucking went after a 14-year-old boy, had his kid, and the kid's the one in jail.
mm,
The kid she in her 20s, knowing all the tricks to get all the men, used that fucking 14-year-old. You're not gonna know any better. You're gonna be like, ugh, tits, yeah. You're not gonna be like, wait a minute, is this bitch crazy?
yes, I know. There's a whole thing. I'm just complete filth anymore.
I'm just trying to explain the whole thing here. It's like, yeah, I would have been like, because whenever I was a kid, yeah, I would have been like, holy shit, this 30-year-old chick wants to ride my cock. Oh my god. I love you. Meanwhile, she could have just used me to get her lustful bug off. She could have been, I would have been so easy to toss around because I was so, the games
Oh well,
some people
yeah.
play are just like, I could barely hack them at my own age range. Someone more experienced and knows how to fucking tug a cock and pull all the emotional strings attached to do whatever the fuck you want, I would have had no chance. None.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, but I'm not gonna lie either. I'm gonna say I would have been totally enthralled with that, but I would have been so screwed. So screwed.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, exactly. I wouldn't be able to, withstand, that. But hey, that's the first thing that comes, and then I start. Well, yeah, with the whole kid thing, and but then my mind just comes back to what how happy I would have been for the 3 seconds. So.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I'm pure, and I'm probably a little bit more impulsive than you anyway.
No, I've gotten older. I've reined that in. You have no idea how impulsive I was at your age or younger.
which is probably going to be the death of me one day. I mean,
I mean, fuck, dude. Like I said, I shoplifted a mall until it became a Walmart. Do you think I had impulse control?
no. Yes, age. Yes, you're older and you've learned from your mistakes. Where have well, I've learned from some of them. I mean,
You still got more to make, yeah, but you've learned from enough to actually be considered almost an adult.
I know not to set myself on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as a kid, you're very impulsive and very, you know, oh, right, older chick wants me.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'd at least think it through for about 4 seconds.
Yeah. I
Okay.
was at that stage a while ago. Now, I mean, the evolution of my dating profiles on dating sites. It started off well written, nice, friendly, and I got so many hits from chicks, left and right
Yeah,
after I left my ex. It was like, yeah, all
yeah,
right, yeah, and then
yeah.
I go meet them, and oh my god, why the hell am I putting up this headache? You're brain dead. Oh my god, you're fucking into the whack job end of the political spectrum. Goodbye. Oh my fucking. This is a train wreck. You're just pretty much begging for every dollar I have to help you out with problems you put yourself in. So I refined it a bit. Put more of the darker side of myself in there, which scared some of them away, but I'm still getting hits left and right. And I weeded out a lot of the losers, but there was still a shit ton more to go. Just fucking banging my head off the wall with some of that shit. So I kept refining and refining and refining.
For me, it's more like when I first started talking to a girl, I would be the gentleman, and we would talk about what we had in common, which was usually like what food we liked, and things like that. And then as we got to know each other, we'd find out that we had nothing in common. I mean, the one I thought was the one who thought that oh, what was it? I've told the story so many times. She believed the Illuminati and Adult Swim were trying to get children to stop believing in God. And at that point, I was like the lowest point of my life. So I was like, okay, she's insane, but whatever. I need companionship. I was lonely. Um, she also thought that she messaged me one day crying because she gave in to temptation and was listening to evil devil metal. I was thinking, okay, so me, I'm Mr. Metal Underground. I was thinking, what evil devil metal was she listening to? Prophenatica, maybe? Was she listening to songs about castrating the Son of God? Was she listening to Incantation or even like Deicide, Pantera?
Oh god.
So finally, I started showing off. Yeah, okay, this is me. I love metal and I love racing and I love gore and I'm a very abrasive person, and because of that I've actually had some meaningful relationships. Not always with metalheads, one with a fucking you know who I'm talking about. She was a fucking diehard Christian, but she saw something that she liked in me. But also with metalheads and things like that. Or the one who noticed me because of my old Facebook cover photo, which you remember what the year that was, right? There was the Reek of Putrefaction album cover.
Uh-huh.
That lasted for like 9 months before some asshole reported it.
All right. So you want to see something really good here?
What? What do we want to see? Really good here.
Now I've thinned it out where I get like maybe one reply every 3 months, but the people who actually respond tend to be so much higher quality that I can
Well,
talk with them, debate them, have fun, and even maintain friendships after we figure out the dating's not going to work.
yeah. I mean, like I said, for me, it was like, Oh, how are you? Oh, I'm so good. How are you? And I tried to be Mr. Gentleman, and it finally found out that it didn't work. Whereas now I'm just like, so what are you into? Well, I like metal and motorsport, and I'm watching this. Although I can't see, I love the music. But if I could see, I love it better. The necrophagia through Eyes of the Dead video, which Jim, even you were like, wow, that's kind of extreme.
And I loved it. But
You should.
anyways, my fucking profile as it stands on OkCupid. Most
Yeah.
people that know me say I'm crude, rude, sarcastic gutter slime with the vilest degree, and wouldn't have it any other way. Introspection, challenging myself, learning about different views or facts, and attacking life with an uncanny zeal are hallmarks of my existence. I'm really good at being an asshole, living life to the fullest whenever I can, offending and or intimidating people, plus cussing every 5 seconds is still making a fairly sound point. I've lived one hell of a life thus far, and my used and abused body shows it. Life may have dealt me a bum hand, but I play it well enough to have plenty of stories to share. The ride has been full of peaks and valleys, so I'd love to share in this adventure brought on by each day.
That is good. Yes.
My dream job is to entertain people, regardless if that means providing thought provoking commentary or material so far off the rails I'm continually mocked and derided.
Yes.
My worst quality: to hell with the sugar coated nonsense. I will rub you the wrong way. The concept of being edgy eludes me as I question whether those who call me such have just lived such sheltered lives with no exposure to real human beings. I take being called an upstanding pillar of the community as a grave insult to my honor. If you feel the need to be accepted everywhere, then feel free to reject me. You'd only be wasting both our time pursuing anything here. To the few that survive that, barring those so shallow as to never read these profiles and only reply to a random pic in a feed, which happens more often than I'd like, my apathy levels go through the roof, making me seem much colder than I actually am. I've been through the meat grinder a few times, acquiring some wisdom from that, which does cause me to talk out the side of my ass from time to time. When I'm not brain dead, I'll talk your ear off about literally anything, occasionally not even stringing together complete sentences. You know that one.
Yes, that's good. I don't even remember what mine says anymore. I think it just says I like shit. I don't know. But that's the thing is I'm a lot more honest than what I used to be. Like I used to always just wanted to show my best qualities, whereas now I figure that you know if you're just honest, and yeah, I'm not always the perfect gentleman. I can be quite abrasive sometimes. And if you post something I don't like a song I don't like, I'm not going to say, well, in my opinion, the music is awful. No, it sucks. Everyone should die.
Exactly.
Which, as I said on the previous show, I got that from the best punk reviewers who, if they didn't like something, they wouldn't just say it's not for me. They would go overboard in the hyperbole. But to me, it was always entertaining. Even if I liked the record, it was like I like the record, but the way this guy shits on it was hilarious. So that's my writing style. It came from the best traditions of punk and
See,
metal.
see, what I love is whenever you encounter those people that say, they listen to all types of music, and then you turn on
There's
death metal, and they're like, "Oh my god, no!"
there's two answers that are immediate red flag cancellations. One, everything. Two, the radio.
Oh
You
god.
do not listen to everything, and I can show you don't listen to everything. I'll here's some arch code. Ah! What is this? Although I did get the Christian into dissection, so that's
Yeah,
I
that's
consider that
always fun.
I consider that, but so yeah, or the radio. It's like really you have no. I mean, yeah, I listen to a bit of metal radio too, but that's not what you're talking. You're talking about FM or Spotify or whatever the fuck the kids listen. So really, you have no greater interest in music that if someone plays a song for you, you're just going to like that song and move on. You're not going to want to listen to anything. I mean, Jim played what was it, Musty Guts. I hadn't heard of Musty Guts before. I'm looking for their demo right after we do their thing, but
Hmm.
right after we end here, because I heard that one song, whatever the song was called. I know the demo's Maggot Assault, but you didn't say the song. Um, I want to hear more. I want to hear what else they've done. I looked up it has 7 songs or 6 songs in an intro. I want to hear those songs. I'm not satisfied with just one. When I hear what, granted, does that lead to disappointment? Yeah, look at Sepultura. The first time I ever heard Sepultura, I bought the Morbid Visions Bestial Devastation record because it had the word bestial in the title and the word devastation in the title. How could you not? And I love that album. And later on, I heard Beneath the Remains, and I was sort of disappointed because it was a bit more focused or whatever. But I still liked the album. Then I heard, and Jim, you're going to Chaos AD, which Jim likes, and I'm just going, what the fuck is this? They turned into Pantera, and then Roots, which was even. So yeah, sometimes I'm disappointed, but I would rather be disappointed than like Metallica. If you just hear Hit the Lights, don't you want to hear what else they did?
Hmm.
And granted, that it can lead to disappointment when you find out the hero of the day.
Murder, 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 murder. Fuck.
We're gonna review those 2 records. Jim messaged me once. He was like, "How about some Pain?" I was like, "What? Load and Reload." I was like, "Fuck you," but okay. I did review Saint Anger once. God,
I
75.
pity you.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna make you do it.
Now I hate you.
Share the hate, man. Yes. Hey, you made me review fucking Baby Metal.
That's true, but it wasn't all bad.
I made you review Slipknot.
Just hatred of everything going
What
on
are the
inside.
We are going to get to reviews, especially because I really want to do more reviews and sort of get what we like and what we dislike about metal. Sometimes it's not the same thing. Jim hated Shining for reasons I think are completely fucking stupid, and I like Shining for reasons that Jim thought were completely fucking stupid.
Exactly. That's just how life works.
So I want to review more albums and things like that. But so anyway, so I've never been the one who just wants to listen to one song by a band. I mean, I know people who, you know, oh, I like that one song. Well, okay, they have 12 albums out, right? It's such a natural thing for me to want to hear more.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a very natural impulse to want to hear more. I mean, I got pissed because there's a Mud Bomb episode I still haven't heard because I think it was up for like a week, but then they deleted it for whatever reason. And I looked on the Wayback Machine. They didn't archive that episode, so I'm still pissed. I've heard every other show except for that one.
I even said that line about my grandmother saying they're all cheats and liars in my fucking dating profile. 40 years later, a single politician still hasn't proven her wrong.
No, they have not. And even if you start out, well, then okay. The thing is, even if you start out with the best intentions, okay, even if you're a young idealist going, I'm gonna make it to the office and I'm gonna show these people, you you become incredibly jaded and incredibly obsessed because No one's that pure in politics. Even if you start out that pure, you start making deals, you start distorting your own views for the public, you start, making little compromises and deals. And finally, when you get into a position of real power, you don't know what you believe in anymore. And the only thing that comes naturally is stepping on more toes and making more deals. And then you wind up with, you know, these people who, like I said, they probably started out with good intentions, but they you don't become a person of real power through ideological purity. So
No,
that
there's no such. Oh God! And I love how they do these purity tests to try to drive you more. We need allies. By the way, let's make our group of highly inclusive people the most exclusive group there is by applying this ideological purity test to fucking knock people in their place. Hey, why are you leaving? Why are you leaving? Don't leave.
see, I just don't- I'm not an ally to anyone. I have no sides at all, and that's
As it should be.
the ally. Ugh. Um, you showed me a thing the other day. Oh no, I have to get my revenge on you, Jim. And viewers, he showed me a thing the other day about a guy talking about a song called, what was it? Scott Adams ruined a whole generation of women or something like that.
Oh God, that fucking song made me vomit. It's like, why are you saying this is punk? That's not
The
punk.
the,
Meatmen's punk.
the lyrics were watered down screwdriver. Okay.
With a bunch more internet memes thrown in.
Yes, but the music itself. Oh, but no, the response was even worse though. That girl did.
I didn't even watch it the whole way.
But
I got sick
but
the moment I started hearing more of them. Like, God, why? No, this is not punk. Fuck.
but
Darling for
but
anus. You're darling for anus.
but yeah.
Sorry,
So
trying to get.
hey Jim. You might want to ask me. Well, what is punk?
Okay, then. What is punk?
This is punk.
Got nothing going for me. Yeah, well, you're right. Hey, wait a minute. Who the fuck are you? I never see you anywhere. You dress like one of SO2. You talk like them too. Oh, now! Oh, shit! You say I'm ignorant. Fuck you. You got no right to judge me. You think I can't think myself. Fuck you. My mind's put on yours. Reach my mind. Lots of better choices. I'm getting gritty. Not through science ways. You just a hypocrite. Get away. My chest gets back to you. Right. Part of the majority. Fuck you. I see right through you. All your snares being drilled into my head. I think fucking world. That's perfectly thing. Okay! You said I'm ignorant! Fuck you! You got no right to judge me! You think I can't think myself? Fuck you! My mind's put into words and it's pretty fine line! Lost better choices! I'm getting gritty! Not precise ways! Ow!
Urban Waste, Ignorance from the self-titled EP from 1982. That is my opinion is the greatest hardcore recording ever. And that's punk. It's fast. It's also untrained. I mean the you could hear the singer's voice crack. which actually sort of makes it even better. So yeah, that is punk, not that song that, like I said, the lyrics watered
That I
down
need to
stupid.
forget continually ever happened in all forms of reality.
That you made me listen to, because I thought we were going to do it on the show. So I was like, oh, he's posting it, I better listen to it, and then I did. And I think I swear to you for
As you should.
yeah. So yes, that, my friends, is punk, not pop punk, and not that acoustic crap with non-binary and misogyny and all that shit. So yes, that's punk, and not just because I really love Urban Waste and I want to spread the love. That is completely not why I posted that. You know, we need a soundboard. Just bullshit. Yeah. So that. But yeah, that's people's idea. I mean, I sort of got what he said, that what people define as punk is now the mainstream, and because, the guy from Blood, you were reading, 40 years ago, punk was, police bastards and, don't listen to the government. Now punk is stay indoors.
Mm-hmm.
Stay indoors, and we're gonna snitch on you if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's punk to people. But no, that was urban waste, and that is what punk is, and what punk should be. So
Exactly. Well, this is where we're calling it, kiddies.
this is what we're calling it. I think it's been a decent show.
This has been the Swine Brothers episode.
This has been the Swine
shit.
Brothers Show, episode 174. You can contact us for questions, comments, if you like the show, if you don't like the show. Cosmicgodsdie@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Facebook at Swine Brothers. You can also leave a comment on our YouTube videos if you like the music we play. You can do that. You can also subscribe if you want to. Well, for the Jim, the Sing I'm Mutant, I've been Elliot the Blind Kid. I'll see you later, kids.
I think I forgot to put on deodorant after my shower.
Pass me the cocaine, please.